Let's get started. Hello. Hi, guys. Welcome in. Oh, joy. Welcome in, everybody. Okay, chat is open. Where's everyone calling in from? Hello, hello. Iowa, Philippines, London, Costa Rica, Berkeley. Wow. Switzerland, St. Louis. Yes. Korea, LA, London. Lots of London folks. France. Scotland, howdy from LA. Oh my gosh. Hi, Sky. Brooklyn, San Diego. Oh, wow. Oh my God, a Wardian. We love a Wardian. Is anyone else an old Wardian? I miss that space. I miss that space a lot. Nepal, sick, sick. Hi, Tiffany, another Wardian, Joanna, Detroit. Wow. Y'all are showing up today. What an exciting day to have such a beautiful conversation. Like, okay, first off, happy spring, everybody. I feel like spring is truly the start of the new year. And I was really inspired to work on this lecture after working on the curriculum for some time. Actually, gosh, where do I start off? Hello, introducing myself. I'm Rachel. I am an instructor at I Love Creatives, and we have a course called Video Creator Course, and it's just been this most amazing platform for me to kind of funnel in process. Like, I am really obsessed with process. I love seeing how other people process information. I love to see how things unfold as they do naturally. And um, I think spring is just such a beautiful time to like kind of tap back into ourselves and have a journey back to self. I think right now, more than anything, just, I read so many of your responses of like how you ended up here and what it would mean like to return back to yourself. And can I just say that this is a beautiful room, a collective consciousness of such tender, creative souls in this space right now. And I feel so honored to share share a room with y'all and to share my story of how I've unraveled myself in a long journey. So this is the journey back to self. I have this beautiful quote from David Abrams that is an incredible author and um, I don't even know what to call him. He's a magician, literally a magician. But this in this is in truth a remarkable magic. For as soon as we look at the written letters, we see what they say. They say something to us. They speak. David Abrams is somebody who has really helped me understand the power of words. And I think that the words like spell and manifestations can get a little woo-woo-y, and he brings such a pragmatic, earthly element to how powerful our words are. And since really like being exposed to his work along my journey, I have looked at all the ways that I have spoke to myself in my journal or what I'm live tweeting and what I'm saying out loud. And the things that we say and the things that we speak hold such tremendous power, how we treat ourselves, how we treat others, and how we move through the world. And when we speak from our truest selves and when we're speaking in a place that is really honest, like I keep a journal on me at all times as sort of this immediate brain dump. I've gotten into um, dumping all my thoughts into my notes, but to be able to capture your thoughts in live times, you're beginning this like soft script, this um, subliminal narrative that you're telling yourself each and every time you speak, each and every time you say something. And I think that this is such an important vessel for how we treat our lives as an art form, how we are able to create content. I think there's probably some people in here who are really interested in like, well, how do you create content? What are you making? And like, I want to make beautiful videos. I want to make beautiful art. At the end of the day, we're all craving this creative expression. But I feel like before all the acts of what we are making and what we're producing, we need to first look at our relationship to ourselves so that everything that we're making comes from a really deep internal place. And at the end of the day, when we think about creating something, we often think about the end outcome. How's something going to look? And it's really, when you look at making things and using your creativity um, to make something, whether it's a video, a dance, a poem, a play, a recipe, sometimes we get caught up in the perfection. I saw that theme come up a lot in your guys' answers, like this perfectionism, which is such a trap because it actually doesn't allow for movement of flow. And something that you will see me talk about or feel through me a lot is the power of presence. And being present with ourselves and our desires is the journey back to ourselves. So you have been journaling, you have been writing to your friends, you have been wherever you've been writing, know that you have already been speaking this entire time. And it's just a matter of listening to what you have been saying all along. So with this, um, if you are new to the I Love Creatives world, this is kind of how I run my digital retreats, is a lot in this format. And so if you're curious about that, I'm not going to talk about the course much in this time because I just want to talk to you guys. But if you guys are curious about digital retreat or the course, this is like kind of a nice little taste of what it feels like. And something I like to start off with is a breath work, just a little quick meditation, because I am also nervous. I haven't been exposing myself online or in a room in so long. So, um, if everybody can join me, I would like to start with a little meditation before I get fully into the lecture. And you don't have your cameras on, so I can't see you, and that's fine. Usually in digital retreats, everyone's cameras on, so love to see the faces. But I am going to guide myself through a meditation because I feel my heart beating a little harder than usual, and I would like to settle myself. So if you can also close your eyes and hold your hands over your heart with me, and take a deep breath in. And a really cleansing, spiraling breath out. Wherever you are, hope you feel your sit bones grounding down. Whatever you're in between to get to this place with me in this room. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being present. Thank you for being curious. Take a deep inhale in. Oh, and hold on to this feeling of just falling in love. I love to hold on to this feeling of falling in love and stay there. Let it go. The rigidness, the expectations. And one more deep breath in and just really call a tenderness to yourself to start this weekend, even though it's Thursday. But a breath of tender love to yourself, straight to the heart. And hold. Sending you all so much love for being here. Thank you so much. Let it go. When you're ready, you can open up your eyes and come back into the space with me. Mm. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. Okay, so I was really thinking about this lecture as a whole, this whole journey back to myself. And I'll be a little frank about it. Um, I think this really started when I went through a really tumultuous breakup. It wasn't tumultuous, but it was really, really intense. And then I was going to therapy, kind of moving my way through it. And the most profound um, insight came to me through my therapy. And it was that from the moment I was born, I've been enmeshed. And as a woman, uh, born into a patriarchal world with a father who was trying to assimilate as well into this American life, was really confused to have a Western daughter coming into this world. And with that, he didn't know how to relate to me. So in turn, he really controlled me. Um, and this relationship that I had essentially became the foundation of how I relate myself to moving through the world. I was very much enmeshed in um, expectations of me through a masculine lens. Found myself in very codependent situations that I didn't even realize I was codependent because I identify as a very individual person, but um, I was quite codependent. And part of this journey back to myself was having this awakening, this realization that I have been wrapped up in entities outside of myself. And the purest form of when we are really back to ourselves is when we really can audit the influences in our lives and understand what our belief systems are and if they were really ever ours to begin with. And I always like to look at, I'm always like coming up with theories and musings as a structure for my thoughts in seasons. And when I was really looking at my individuation process, coming back to myself, I am now aware of my relationship with men, with guys in my life. And I'm understanding my relationship where I don't know if I ever really had one that was fully 100% really my own undertaking, where I have felt myself be a true sovereign being. And this begins the 4 seasons of my return. After I left that last relationship, I, had gotten a van, decided to live in it full time, fully untethered myself. And what a blessing that was to give myself the gift of freedom. It has been the gift of a lifetime to give myself. And that first started in with play. And from play, I shaped my reality. And from shaping my reality, I then rooted in it, integration, really sitting with it. And once I really had an understanding of who I was and what my values are, that were not adopted in any way, but really my own, I could then find things and align with them outside of myself. And I find the first stage of play to be the sacred yes stage. It's like trying everything, being okay with failing and wandering around and just being porous to the world, like just saying yes to things that feel right and allowing that whatever I am diving into, that I trust myself, that whatever I go through, whatever I fail at, I can get myself out of it. And through trusting myself, you might ask, well, how do you trust yourself? It's small little increment things. It's like when you say that you're going to do something for yourself and then you have that follow through, that builds that trust with yourself. I'm going to go to yoga today. I do that. And I really commit myself with presence through the class. I build that trust. Something broke in the van. I'm not going to freak out about it. I trust that I could figure this out. And then through some tears, through some blood, I figure it out. I build that trust. It's trust, 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 trust. You trust the sacred yes stage of play. And before I get into any more of all the examples I want to share with you guys of how I have written these outlines for myself, the biggest thing is to not be ambivalent to your desires because we all have desires to do some things, but there could be a voice outside of us that is kind of telling you, hey, maybe is that safe? Can you do that? But when we wait for the approval of others, what we are really saying is we're allowing people to dictate our reality with the limitations of their perceptions. We're subjected to their um, they're not knowing. So there's something really beautiful about fortifying what you desire and being responsible for what you desire, not being ambivalent to it, because we all have something we're craving to do. We all have something that we're itching to get out in the world to experience for ourselves. And we really are the only person in our lives, truly at the purest sense, that can honor that. So listen to your desires. Do not be ambivalent to it. You are the only person who really understands that gift in its fullest expression. And keep that to yourself because that is what that is. It is a gift to know that you have the power to desire, you have the power to want. And it could be scary. I understand. It could be really scary to be like, wait, I'm allowed to want things? Yes, baby. You are allowed to want anything that you want. You just have to know that it's safe. Got to cultivate that safety within yourself. So I started off, I wrote this for myself 30 at 33. I'm 35 now, so 2 years ago. This is 33 mantras I wrote to myself. Very playful. And you guys can take a screenshot. It's up on my Instagram, so you guys can look at this. But I find it really interesting to have a conversation with yourself of like, what do I fuck with? How do I move through the world? What am I doing? What do I really stand for? I mean, really, this all started when I had a feeling, the first three were the things that got me really into making this list. Forgiveness is a portal. I was going through emotion of needing to forgive people in my life, something small, something I was just like, pettiness is not cute. What is the opposite of that? Like forgiveness. Forgiveness is a portal to truth. And I really could go through all 33 of this, and I'm going to try not to go on tangents because my God, can I yap when there's a mic in front of me? But I was like, forgiveness is a portal to so much goodness on the other side. And then I have thought about documenting everything. making sure I document all my thoughts, observations. This is how I've been able to build all this content for myself that I haven't really shared or done anything with as like somebody who's been on YouTube and has been a content creator. I um still have all this content. And when I run my course, I remind my students a lot, your content already exists inside your journals, inside of what you're doing, what you're saying to your friends, like content's all around you. And then one day I was at a party and I was like, why am I still here? The good part happened like 30 minutes ago. And I had a good conversation after that. I had a nice refreshment, went to the bathroom, enjoyed the interior. 3 moments after a high note, I'm good. Anyways, I'm not going to go on this, but these were things that I were really, really adamant about my own boundaries. Essentially, this is like kind of my own boundaries list. I don't like that word boundary because I think it's kind of like overused by therapy, but um, this was really, really helpful for me. And Tiffany, yes, my 30 by 30 bucket list. I don't have that in here. I should have put that in here. But yeah, in my 20s, I wrote 30 things as a bucket list of things to do. And again, being able to write down your desires, what you want, how you show up, all these things in a list format so you're not overwhelmed by all these thoughts of like how you carry yourself, et cetera, et cetera. Um, it's so powerful to revisit because when I revisit this, why I wanted to share this is in the past 2 years, I haven't really sat and like revisited the or read my mantras, but because I wrote it down at one point and really like marinated it in it and talked about it, it has been so ingrained in me. And I still look at this list and I'm like, I fuck with this person. I fuck with this person. And it's like, how do you um become the favorite version of yourself by drafting out the things that you like about yourself. Um, oops, some more play. I had a Google Doc that I was like writing to myself. Oh my God, I forgot I was doing this. How do I do this? This way. I just love lists. I think that if you're ever feeling like writer's block or you're overwhelmed with your thoughts and ideas, just write out lists. What do you want to do? Like, these are things that I'm like, oh, these are ways I can show up for other people, or I don't know what this list is. I just included it in. But that's the form of play. Like, just play around not only in your day-to-day life, but like play around when you imagine who you could be as a person. Like that is all play. Everything available is play. Like you can find symbols everywhere. Just have a thesis and go run with it for a day, a week, a month, a whole season, a year, and just play with the ideas that come up with the things that are bringing you joy. Thank you so much for saying that word joy, Hazel, because I've been using that word a lot lately. And we all deserve joy, especially in the dark times. I know this world can be really tough, really grim right now, but it's so important to keep your own levity. And that that's ultimately it. I mean, to go on just a slight tangent again before I'm like checking time. Okay, we're good. Um, Something that has been really hitting for me is we are all here on Earth as people because we're like, sometimes people are like, well, what's my purpose here? And it's actually really simple. Actually, a lot of life can be really simple. We add a lot of complexities to our lives, a lot of things that we want and desire that we simply don't really need. But we are all here on Earth with the idea that our contribution is to raise consciousness. And when I think about the structure of just that simple thought, we are here to raise consciousness. It starts with raising our consciousness. What does that mean? Um, Becoming aware of our patterns, becoming aware of how we show up, becoming aware of how we love, how we treat others, but more importantly, how we treat ourselves. And when we're able to raise our consciousness, we can share that with others. And I'm just going to leave that little seed. That's it. It's a seed to just think about. We're all here to raise consciousness, and that is a perfect place for play. Um, so once you kind of get into play, then you can start forming language around the things that you've been intuitively exploring, give yourself the time to like reflect and archive and start turning your experience into a story. So when I was in my play mode, I would say that's kind of when I got into my van and I'm driving around. I have no idea where I'm parking half the times. I have no idea where I'm actually going to end up. I have a general sense of like, I want to get to Mount Shasta, but along this 600-mile, however far, journey, I'm stopping by so many places and I'm allowing myself play. Doesn't matter where I end up. Doesn't matter if I'm like parked outside of a stinky, like, I don't know. I've parked in some weird places, but either way, it's all play. But once you start to form language, this is like when it gets really, really powerful, right? Like, because you can really sculpt this narrative that you're living out. Um, and just some examples of this is like just little rituals that you make yourself. My sweetie and I, we did this beautiful spring solstice? No. Oh my God, I can't think right now. Don't mind me. But the first day of spring, we decided, okay, what are we burning in the winter and equinox? Thank you. Spring equinox. Um, like what am I burning over the winter? And I wrote the words that I'm burning. I don't even remember what they are because the first one I think was performance anxiety. But what I wanted to keep was the affirmation of it. I want to get rid this winter of performance anxiety so that I can be myself and only strive to walk in my truth and my power and stand in my decisions. Um, and then I let go and I burned performance anxiety. I don't remember the second thing I wrote, but this is getting a little witchy now, but think about really the experience of when you write something down, like, is there a negative connotation to it? Is there a positive connotation to it? It's so important to like really thoughtfully craft out what you're saying. And if you're burning things or if you're letting things go, like what is the right word to let go and to burn? Sorry, we're getting a little witchy here. So I know you guys like this. But yeah, so these were things I was burning. This was me kind of starting to craft a little bit of where I see myself going this year and so really sitting with these affirmations. And because this is like a ripped out page in my journal, it really I like always keep turning back to it because it's just the way it's being written out or like the way it's cut up. I keep turning back to it. So I'm always like coming back to this page. And there's little things that you can do in your journal, like physical touch points where it's like, I want to keep returning to this page. So like putting like a paper clip on it. It's little things, tactile things that you're just always in communication with yourself. Like that's what I think a lot of what I'm trying to share is that like in every touch point of our lives, we are communicating with ourselves, past, present, and future. Past version of me is communicating with a future version of me by having these little cutouts that I can constantly return to. This was the start of my van journey, and I remember making a friend here, Mount Shasta, and she taught me how to make um, rope out of like plant fiber. So we were parked up by Castle Lake in this beautiful campsite with a bottle of wine, and an open heart and just like excited to make something. So we're sitting here making necklaces, and I was like, we need to imbue these necklaces with spells. We need to write a letter to Creator. And I don't know why that just came to me, but this was my letter to Creator. And because I just started this journey, but I went through all that motion of play and I landed in Mount Shasta where I kind of wanted to end up and was kind of giving myself shape to this experience. Like, all right, I'm out here where I kind of wanted to be. And I'm like, I want to stay here. So, like, how do I imbue this experience of this new friend I have, teaching me how to make something beautiful out of plant material? And what is the intention of wearing it? I mean, that's all it is. Intention is architect, and you can architect any part of your life. I feel like I'm giving a manifestation workshop. And this is like no longer about creative process, but it is. Um, but I wrote this letter to creator, and every time, once again, I look back on this and I'm like, all of this feels so relevant to how I carried myself. And I wore that necklace with this love imbued into it and this yearning for community. But to be a part of community, I had to start seeking that out and I had to find comfort in also bringing community to me. And I just really held on to that necklace and really felt that through. And I'll talk about that a little bit more later in the slide. But yeah, that is me. We both did a blood oath, we both cut our thumbs up, touched blood, and stamped our letter to creator. Wait, can you see it? Oh yeah, you can see it there. It's right. All of it. Okay, my video won't reach, but yes, there is blood. You can still see it. So that was really, I feel like gave me a lot of shape because I was really craving community, knowing that I was going to be really solo in my van. Um, an ode to joy, a reminder to cast a spell for abundance. Again, always writing your things down. Night thoughts, 33:33 a.m. Caught myself awake, wanting joy and envisioning what joy looks like around me, and I had to draw it out. So just, always make sure you're capturing down your your field. All right. Play, shape, rooting down, the season of stillness. This has been such a learning lesson in yoga where you go through all the motions of these poses, the asanas, the breath work, the chanting, all of that. But until you actually, savasana, corpse pose, lay down, feel it out, sit and lay with all the work that your body has gone through, the motions, the movement, the prana, the alignment, the energy. You're just a moving force. You're just a moving force that keeps moving through the world, going, without actually having that integrate into the truest part of yourself. So stillness has been deeply fundamental. I think the first two, the shaping and the play, feels really obvious. It's like, yeah, we can all do that. Our world is designed to keep us moving, inspired, playing, consuming, doing things. But the next two seasons, I think, are the most important because they are the hardest and not the hardest, but the ones that we forget about the most. It's just truly a time to pause. What has worked for me in my play? What am I shaping in my life? Okay, let me really sit with that because we can all have a habit of retreating, moving away, moving out of the things that we have just done and what we've experienced, and we want to experience the next thing. That's consumption, right? That's consumption. I just had a great meal. What's up for dessert? What am I eating tomorrow? I just had an amazing vacation. When's the next one? I just had a cool meeting with somebody really exciting. Like, okay, what's the next step? What's the next step? It's all about pausing, integrating, and not retreating, but to root down into ourselves And kind of goes back. I love this moment on Twitter, and I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter, but I'm live yapping all the time on it. So if you're interested or have found interest in my intrusive thoughts here, hit me up on Twitter. But this tweet that I wrote was kind of like an observation of stillness, being alone in my own gaze. I have become protected from the limitations of other people's subconscious, and I'm fully growing into myself with far less influence. And I love what a Twitter friend had said back, and this is such a feminine individuation journey, but ultimately it's an individuation journey in its whole entirety. That feeling that once you hit stillness and that noise outside of yourself fades out away because you're protecting your inner world, your inner space by finding stillness, by finding alone time, by finding that place inside of you that's not urging to consume the next thing, urging to consume the next moment or opportunity or thrill or whatever, or love, you know? My God, can we chase love? I can be of that nature as well. But that stillness that I had once I felt at peace in my new life with the van, to sitting in the trees for days. I know that's a lot of space, and I've offered myself that. Um, and I gave myself that gift, as I was saying in the beginning of this lecture. But that stillness was truly when things really turned for me. That's when the integration process really helped me marinate into being back to myself. Because that's when I started to really think about, when am I home? And home has been so important to me, and home is everywhere I go. And that's what's something that the van has really taught me, is that home is anywhere I can be. And I started to list out, well, when am I at home? I was trying to look for that list, but I couldn't find it. A great list for me to work on after this. But when do I feel at home? I know I feel at home when my typewriter's out and I can let stream of consciousness go out and I can be in trance state because I am so still and outside of other people's expectations of me, perceptions of me, voices, that I could just be still with a typewriter. That's important for me. When I'm at home and I feel still, when I can nourish my body. Um, and I wrote here in this beautiful knowing that my life completely changed when I untethered to have an authentic journey back to myself. So much about it was being listening to my body. What does my body need? I mean, truly, we feel the anxieties in our bodies. We feel discomfort when we're in situations, but we don't really listen to it sometimes because the noise outside of us is telling us, no, that's okay. The stimulation's okay. The overstimulation's okay. The discomfort's okay. You just kind of got to get over it. But it's like, do I have to? Ask yourself, like, do I really feel comfortable in this situation? Do I really feel comfortable in my body? Is the food I'm eating feeling good? Is the material that I'm consuming, whether it's like um, what you're putting in your body, anything that's altering your state of thinking, like how sober can you really be? And I think sobriety is so much more than just like not drinking alcohol or not consuming altering things, but sobriety from expectations, sobriety from consumption, sobriety from materialism is so poignant to stillness. It's just, this is like who you are at your core. You can really see that when you are sober. Yoga and breath work has been an incredible part of my stillness journey because that is really when I'm on my mat, when I feel like, oh, I'm home. I'm home, I'm home, I'm home. I even like, again, just writing things out, have a thesis and play on it, write it out. This is a thesis that I had about like, I'm going to write a program that I'm still working on because I feel that's my current like fixation inspiration right now is just like feeling inspired by, well, what's a program that I could just be on? And a big part of my program was like, I, at the end of the day, know that I am a bougie bitch. I love to spoil myself, and I gotta be around people that can match that energy. Oh my God, my man is trying to align in my to the luxury of my spaciousness. My man is actually somewhere in here in this room, I think. But it's again affirming the journey that I want to go on. So this is like kind of my embodiment journey of like when do I feel best in my body? I have like my morning processions, all the first things that I drink in the morning. I have a lot of things. Um, yeah, this is all a part of fun stillness, just things to look forward to. Uh, and then after stillness, really being with yourself, right? I think that's when alignment comes into play. This is real embodiment work. This is when you feel that full cycle of the seasons. And I think we get caught up in the first two a lot, play and shape, play and shape, play and shape. Then we hit the last one, more stillness, rooting down. And I feel like when we start to be able to, when we are having the space to align ourselves to the world with everything that has come before us. This is like really reaping and harvesting all that medicine you've given yourself with time, allotted through words, how you speak to yourself, how you are writing out with clarity. This is, writing is important because it offers clarity. What you want, those desires are here in fruition and they're in front of you. I swear, once you get past the part of that discomfort of sitting with yourself, things start to align. Doors open up. You are sovereign. There's clarity. There's true devotion in your world now because now you have something to protect. You walk what you wrote, and now your art is your presence, and you devote yourself to it. And that has been such a beautiful part of my journey is now that I feel like I've had the medicine work, and my God, seasons are cyclical. I'm going to go through this over and over and over again. There's no end part of this journey. This is all a spiral of how we carry ourselves. But now I can start aligning myself. Now I can go back out in the world and be like, what suits me? Does this feel good to me? Does that feel good to me? And with that clarity within myself, it feels so much easier to uphold myself to a higher standard. It feels so good to walk through the world as a sovereign being that whatever situation I'm in, I'm so myself in it that nothing can break me, you know? Because it's like, is that aligned with me or not? That little phrase was such a gift from my current partner, and it has shaped so much of my reality in the past several months that has, I feel, just skyrocketed me to a completely different reality and a completely different way of existing. And I feel so, so grateful for it. And I'm really, gosh, I keep dropping down these buzzwords, but like the gratitude of your life once you devote yourself to yourself and it's manifested in a way that you are of how you be. Yeah, it's just you have something to protect. Um, And I give so much of this part of my life to my partner now. I wrote this out a manifestation of like, well, what do I want from a guy anyway? Because like I'm like talking to people, but I'm like, I don't even know what I want. Again, do not be ambivalent to your desires. I just wrote down everything I wanted, and I wrote this in October, while I think I was in my shaping period, and I'm so grateful that I'm now found somebody that I really aligned with. And I'm like, oh, this is alignment. I found we're both in aligned and it feels so, so divine. And that's what divinity, I think, is when we talk about divinity. Divinity is just alignment, that the path to your highest self comes from aligning all the little fragments of your outer world, your inner world, how you show up every day, how you treat your body, how you treat everyone else. Those little things are like pathways to your highest version of yourself. And that is divinity, it's just alignment. It's nothing more magical than that. Love the pink pen girlies. Love a pink pen. Actually, pink is my favorite color. Um, and in a moment of stillness, I wrote down these daddy energy. That's so funny. I don't know if he's reading the comments, but he's probably laughing to himself right now because he's like, yeah, daddy energy. Oh gosh. But in a moment of stillness, in a moment of trance, we have a little bit of a long distance relationship because I live in my van or now in Mount Shasta, and we're trying to form our lives together. But in a moment of play with him, shaping our relationship, and then stillness, I was able to channel these vows that I wrote out that I think was not even so much about him, but like, how do I want to show up in a space of love and as a partner to somebody? Like this is all at the end of the day, all the work that I have done, all the things that I have written out have all been for myself. How do I want to show up? Because how I show up, how I feel in a situation, in a relationship, is the most important thing to me because that's all it is. I am responsible for my own emotional, spiritual, physical well-being first and foremost. And I think that is really shaped in these vows that I wrote because at the end of the day, I'm like, these are things that I want mirrored back to me. We are all, every relationship is a mirror. So how I treat myself and how I treat my partner is exactly how I want to be treated. I want to know that my partner is here by choice because I am here by choice. And I want a safe space for each other. And I want to be transparent. Transparency is so, so important to me. It's so important to how I talk to myself. And in order for me to be transparent with myself, I know I have to be of love and light. So I've integrated that into my vows. Um, and I think that this has just been such a beautiful, romantic gesture of alignment. And I'm really grateful to have that. And all of this is this is all balance. This is all cyclical. This is all play because you got to start. You can't have any of these seasons without the other. And all of this is a practice on when you're coming back to yourself. Have you gone too far into playing? Have you gone too far into being so still? Have you gone too far into shaping so much that action's not coming around? Or are you not shaping enough that you don't have structure in what you want? Are your alignments solid? Because without rooting down, can you align with the world? All of these things coexist with each other. And I almost see like I'm just having a really quick visual of a human field kind of being like a compass, north, east, west, south. And like somehow we're always trying to find ourselves in the center of this XY axis. And oftentimes, yes, we can move around and we're allowed to explore anywhere around this axis. Um, and it's not about staying perfectly in the middle, right? That's what perfection is. When we're trying to stay so close in the middle that everything feels like it's perfect. But in actuality, the times we actually hit that perfect target in the middle is a fleeting moment. Oh, and my goodness. Do those moments feel so good when you like are you just know that like, oh damn, I hit all of those moments at once where I feel so balanced. This moment feels so good. And it's just, I'm so present with it. It's because you've done all the work to root, align, and play and shape, but it's all a balance. Oh my God, my head here. Look, read, it's there. Um, so those are the four seasons of return. We got 10 minutes left, and I want to open. I know, so soon. I feel like I can yap forever. But I wanted to open this up for some questions and discussion. And I want to hear like what came up for you guys at the end of the day. And the lecture is this room is or the lecture's here till 11. I know you guys are busy. Yes, we'll have a recording of this lecture. But I know you guys are on some schedules, so I don't want to take up any of your time, but I'm going to stick around for 30 minutes after and just be here for questions and discussions. Um, but let's just take an integrative pause and breath together because that was a lot we just went through. And I hope that something in there really resonated for you and whatever that nugget may be, um, just hold that closely to you. Whatever that feeling is that you feel right now that you want to hold on to, capture it, literally. Hold it to your heart. Another one. What do you want to root? Hold that. Hold it to your stomach and just feel the medicine of something inspiring, something truthful, something honest. There's so much to be said about all of this work. And just let that really funnel in the energy between your two hands, holding down your body. Take a deep breath in, all the way down to your stomach. Feel that breath expand your stomach and hold. Exhale to your heart. Feel your heart melt. That tenderness, that love for yourself. Take another deep breath into your heart. Hold that joy, that inspiration deep to your heart, whatever that is, whatever speaks to you, whatever just came up, your desires, anything, just hold that there. You deserve to hold something tender for yourself. Exhale from the stomach. Another breath in, all the way, and spiral it down. Spiral your breath all the way down from the crown of your head to your root. Hold. HA. Let it go. Let it go. That ends our lecture. Actually, I thought I had something to share, but I can't find it. Um, oh no. This is a great song. I wish it was playing right now, but it's an amazing song. Something I want you to do, I forgot to put this in a slide, is um homework. I love giving homework. So, over this weekend, I just want you, whether you want to start an entire new journal about this or just a few pages in your current journal, start a notes app, whatever it is, I want you to first write your desires. Just write the things that you desire without any judgment, without any constrictions, without any strategy, without predicting, measuring, or controlling what your desires are. Write out your desires. What do you want? What do you wish you can have? And because it's not written out here, just take some time, note this to yourself. What are your desires? Another question I really like to ask myself, and I'm going to work on this as my homework as well, is when do you feel at home? When do you know you are at home? Simple. And then throughout this weekend, pay attention to how you are talking to yourself. Pay attention to what you are saying to others. And just write down anytime you have caught yourself saying something, whether it's good or bad, just write it down so that you can understand with utter honesty how you speak to yourself and the things that you are saying. And if I were to also satiate anything about video creator course, digital retreat, what it feels like to be a creative, and why this journey to self is so important is because when we treat our lives as art, when we have an outline for how we exist and our interest in how we move through the world, you throw a camera on, you hit record, suddenly everything that is surrounding you becomes interesting because it's so deeply you. It's so deeply and honestly you. And if you have been following my work on YouTube or have been in my class or have been on board, you will know that I, time and time, will always say, every single person is a beautiful and unique soul. Each and every one of you. Each and every one of you deserves to be heard and to understand your own gifts to this world. And may I just offer that as a reminder that you are brilliant and you have something to share. So, with that, thank you so, so much for chiming into this lecture. I'm going to stick around for 30 minutes, probably without this flashing GIF behind me to stick around for some Q&As. Um, I need to open up the chat again. But yeah, thank you. Thank you so, so much. Appreciate all of you. Thank you. Thank you. Actually, if you have questions, because it's getting lost in the thank yous, can you put it in the Q&A portion? Love it all. Thank you guys. Appreciate your presence and being here. I feel the love. Uh, I'm glad that Amy, you felt emotional. This is recorded. Yes, yes, yes. So good. Thank you. Okay. Questions. Angeliki, what do I do? Answer live? What is this? I don't know what this is, but anyways, okay, I'm gonna close this. Am I still being okay here? Um, okay. Great, great questions. Um, about capturing and documentation and processes. Any advice you would have for us with ADHD who are interested in thousands of different things and it's chaos sometimes? I guess every creative person is more like this ADHD. um, you got to create a system for yourself, Angeliki. I think, I think this is where the ADHD, oh my God, 17 questions. Okay. The ADHD thing like really is so much so when we're, I think, in the motions of play and shape that ultimately like ADHD counterpart is stillness. It's when you're able to like just sit with yourself, integrate the things that you are really inspired by, and just like enjoy it for what it is and to be still with it. And I think that it offers clarity because oftentimes a lot of the a lot of the things that we're interested in are really related to one another. And it's like, well, what's the through line here? What am I really trying to experience by having all these different interests? And with that, I think meditation, I didn't even talk about meditation, but meditation has been a huge part of my journey. And one that I would really, really recommend as a way of stillness. I'm going to try to power through these questions because there's 25 of them, so I'm not going to dwell so much on answers, but I hope that was helpful. Okay, Lisa, thoughts on implementation. I've noticed that it can be difficult to bring the concepts in my head to the tactile world permanently instead of reverting back to old ways. Do you think it's a matter of repetition to try to continue to implement? I'm not quite sure what you mean by implementing. I think perhaps that might be in terms of alignment. I feel like implementation um, happens when we're really sure of ourselves, right? Like we have our boundaries of what we like and what we don't like, and being able to really honor all of those through devotional practice to yourself and your ways, whether however that may be. I don't know if that makes sense. I know it's kind of a vague answer, but yes, there's repetition does help a lot with that. Um, I don't know what I'm doing when I hit these things. What does it mean, Gina, when do answer live? Is that what I'm supposed to do? Does that put the question up or something? Like, what does that do?
No, I think it just like it just says that you're going to be answering it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I
right
see.
underneath. But I don't think you have to click it.
Okay. Annie, what kind of camera do I use for my videos? Would you consider hosting more advanced digital recorder keys for people who already know how to edit? Um, I like that, Annie. Advanced digital creator course. Yes, because a lot of the creator course, video creator course that is currently in, it's really about creative process. So it's kind of like thematically a lot of what we talk about. But then there's obviously the whole portion of like we're in this room together, like making and filming things, and we're looking at each other's footage and first cuts. Um, so I think that with any scenario, if you're in class and you come curious and you come with really good questions, I'm able to like really help through with that. I don't know if I could like rewrite a whole like moment in curriculum to like do something more advanced, but um, the advancement of your learning is really based on how you show up in a class and the curious questions that you ask. And that's certainly how I love to show up in spaces and how I feel like I've advanced um, my yoga practice is just like asking really, really beautiful advanced questions. I like how I'm talking like this as if I'm talking to this, but actually, this is the thing I'm talking into. And honestly, I'll use my iPhone for a lot of things. And I also use a camcorder, a Sony 4K camcorder. Okay, how do I maintain focus and space in this practice amidst all the distractions? Um, Skylar, I'm always getting hijacked. My attention's getting hijacked as well. This is where stillness is so important. And I love to go out into nature, put my phone on airplane mode, and go walk. It's like, how do you cultivate moments where you're able to just really be with yourself? And that is a way to focus, and also meditation. The answers are actually kind of simple. It's like meditation. Yeah, just really sit with yourself. And that is one way that I'm able to maintain focus. It's just putting myself on airplane mode. But it's hard. And I'm always finding myself overstimulated. But that's also a cue too. When you find yourself in the moment of overstimulation, you got to listen to your body. That's part of what we were talking about. It's like listen to your body. I'm overstimulated. I see that. I can move away from stimulation and just protect my peace at the moment. And I think that's also really important. being able to protect your peace first and foremost, because all the information, all the news, it's really irrelevant if you're not in a good place to hear it. Um, how do I work through self-doubt? I don't. You just got to go through it. I had so much self-doubt going through this lecture even to even like right now was a release of like, okay, I could do it. You have to be able to sit with the uncomfortable. That's all that self-doubt is just to sit in the doubt and go through it, even knowing that it's not going to be the right thing how you imagined it in your head. Because self-doubt is really related to perfectionism. And perfectionism is a trap because it prevents you from flow state. And flow state is the place you really want to be to work through doubt. Yes. Okay. Path. Any clues for discovering what stage you're at, where you should start? Should we always go back to play if we're not too sure? Um, I actually think that if you're not sure what stage you're in, which, these stages are also like could be renamed different ways in ways that fit your lifestyle in the way you process information. This is just how I and transparently so ChatGPT have helped structure this thought of like looking at my journey. And honestly, I've been using ChatGPT to help me a lot with articulation of things that I'm going through. But I actually think that play is not is too stimulating for me personally because I feel like I'm always in play mode or like I'm always seeing something that's inspiring me. I actually think for me, rooting down is the part that I like to start with in my journeys. If we're not too sure, that's how I like to be because it's like starting from a place of a blank slate of stillness is chef's kiss. Okay, Kate, thank you for doing this. Play has always been on my mind for months. What would you do if you feel blocked in identifying your desires or what you want to do? Well, you're not going to find and understand what all of your desires are right off the bat. You are um, create a long-standing list of it. Work on it for a few work on it for a month, it takes some time. Like my 33 mantras that I wrote didn't all come at once. They were all um, snippets and fragments from things I've written in the past, things that I've thought about, things that I've started to experience. It took me a month to write that. So with everybody and all the work in this room that we're gonna do, don't think about it as like this one time sit down, like all out outcome of something or like this homework that is just gonna be done right now. This is all about a process. So slowly listen. Just it's slowly listening to what you're desiring. And if you're feeling blocked, just why do you feel blocked? Who told you? Who told you that you can't have this? You know? Okay. Eunice, I feel like what do you do when we're feeling too afraid or scared to play? Um, this is going to be a recurring thing. Putting yourself in discomfort. Things are going to be uncomfortable and things are going to be doubtful, but you got to be okay with it because there's no circumstance or situation that you're going to feel like this perfect. Again, this is all about perfectionism. It's a trap because it's preventing you from just showing up. If you're afraid and if you're scared, you got to go through it. I was scared to make this lecture. I was scared to launch this course. I still am. I'm still so afraid to launch this curriculum, but I've been holding on to it for way too long. I've been sitting and shaping for too long and perhaps now stillness. And now I'm just like, I need to align. I need to align with what feels right. And I don't even know what that is yet or what it feels like yet, but I have to be able to sit through discomfort because through discomfort is where growth happens. And that's why I appreciate yoga so much. I talk about yoga a lot because yoga is really a practice of pushing yourself to that edge and sitting in the edge, excuse me, of your discomfort in order to see what happens on the other side. But yeah, it is scary and it's never not going to be scary. So just got to move through that. Skylar, how do I balance digital versus physical note taking? I'm still figuring that out. I do both. I don't know, whatever's in front of me. Sometimes I'm like, I don't feel like looking at a screen, so I write in my journal. But most lately, this past few days, past few months, I've been a digital note taker in my notes app because I discovered hashtagging in my notes app and I'm like, yeah, that's it. Um, but my journal, when I write things physically, is when I'm kind of more like in a trance like state than just like jotting things down really fast. And also the in between for that I really love is my typewriter. So it's just whatever feels good. I have those three that I allow for my immediate thoughts, which is part of the new course. It's like immediate thoughts, secondary thoughts, and process of librarying and systemizing all of this information so that you have something to constantly refer back to. Because I think being self-referential is such a superpower. I'm like speeding through this, speed dating, speed questions. Okay, let's go, let's go. All right. Martinia, could you elaborate on not wanting more from certain situations? You said about being a party and sort of not feeling there's nothing waiting for me here, not wanting more. I, not wanting more is really asking, what more do I gain from this? Like, that's what it is. It's like, do I gain anything from being here right now? Like, or would I gain more from leaving the situation? I also think about like consumerism, like wanting more. It's like, what do I gain from like having a new shirt? Like, how many more outfits am I going to wear this? How many times am I going to wear this? Because there is a responsibility, again, to your desires. And sometimes we just like consume things. But now I'm responsible for a green shirt that I've only worn once. And then now I really think about the responsibility of wanting things because there is a responsibility of your desires in every capacity. And there's a responsibility of materialism as well. And I think we were really far into our material um, world, but it's like, what do you want on a deep spiritual level? What brings you joy? What brings you joy? Period. Period. All right, Miranda. As just able to catch last few minutes, there is a replay. Yes. Tiffany, how do you create protection between yourself and the world when you're figuring things out? Financial pressures or making things sense of yourself when you're still on your journey? Mm, protection between yourself and the world. This is all part of it, right? Like the journey back to yourself is being a sovereign being. Being a sovereign being is your own protection in the world, that you know exactly what you want, what you desire, how you're going to show up for yourself, and you honor that day to day, moment by moment. How you show up for yourself is how you show up for others. And that's your protection. And I just think that, like, if you're operating out of love and light because you're just like a true being of light and love to yourself, that you trust yourself and you're like, ah, I feel so good. Like, nothing can penetrate you. When I'm out in the world, I'm like, I think I'm so in my own fairy tale land. I've really cultivated that for myself that, like, with my own fairy taleness and delusions, I mean, like, God, do we love to be delusional? Yes, girl, my nails are Sailor Moony. They're cute. They need to be redone. But thank you for noticing because that just made my day. Um, uh, yeah, you just kind of got to get back with yourself. Like, okay, like financial pressures are all so real. Ask yourself, how much do I really, really need in this life? Do I really need to live in a city where it feels externally that I have to show up a certain way in order to be accepted and to feel like I fit into a society? Could I live somewhere more simple, et cetera, et cetera? It's like these things that you know about yourself and want start to shape your environment around you. And I think that's really important. So I hope that helps. Okay, anonymous. Anonymous, girl, get your name out there. How to create while working a day job that drains me dry? Oh, so hard, my love, so hard. How to create? Well, creating is something really small, actually. They're little actions that you offer yourself of I mean, gosh, even creating these nails, even creating this moment where I'm like, I'm gonna wear my beautiful little thing. It's like, what are the things that bring you joy? Like, if something is draining you dry externally, and like that's really hard for you to kind of put a boundary up against, what are the things that fill you up? Think about your existence in that realm first. What are the things that fill you up in these small little increments? Whether it's like a really good beverage that you make yourself at work in the morning, just to have that sort of ritual for yourself, something that you put on that reminds you of when you're out in nature or when you're like in the moment that feels really sacred to you. It's like, how do you have sacred moments that you make for yourself that you can then carry throughout moments that are outside of yourself? I have moments where, like, I've cultivated so many paraphernalias of my current life, my van life, things that make me feel really comfortable that if I'm like in a situation, social situation, or whatever, that's outside of my comfort zone, I have so much internalized comfort from the things that I wear. Like, I wear a headscarf almost every day now, and I wear this I always have this on me actually. And it's like so funny because when I go back to LA, I'm like, I feel like such a little vagabond because I'm like dressed like this, but this is actually like how I dress often. I feel like it protects if I feel like it protects my crown chakra. This is why I wear this. Um, I don't know if that makes sense. I'm kind of like fizzling out on brain, but little things that bring you ch comfort and joy, you gotta cultivate that within yourself. Have those rituals, have those habits, have those relics, have those symbols. It's really important. Daphne, how do you balance being present and try and capture a moment? Okay, I talk about this in the course, so if you're interested in more of the techniques of it, it's in the course, but really, it's like I think when we are capturing moments, it's so often we're like having our phone and it's like, okay, guys, hi, like, oh my God, this is so cute. You're like actively taking people out of the moment when we're like recording. And I think now phones, cameras have been so weaponized that it feels really kind of threatening to kind of have this going on. So oftentimes I even like I'll like have this recording and I'll lean it against like a tripod, or I'll have my my camera on a tripod. I do a lot of tripod work because it's something that's like really easy to set and forget and just like carry on my existence. So that's how I stay present, is like I'm not thinking about the camera. I'm just thinking about what is happening in the moment. And I just had a moment to like meditatively come out of my moment, turn the camera on, set it up, blah, 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 but like go back to what I was doing. And it's not so much of like this blurring of performance. It's like, no, this is a tool and this is what I'm doing. Separate entities. I kind of want to scroll down to the bottom and go from there and then go back up. I don't have a Pinterest, Gina. I'm all the way at the very bottom of Q&As. Okay, don't have a Pinterest. I use Arena. I love Arena. I'm not going to share it. I gatekeep it, but if you find me, you will find me. It is my initials, RBTN. Oh, just said it. Okay, moving on. Michael, your forms of creation and collections, such as your notes, feel so free. Do you have an advice on how to get to that level, less passive judgment on your movement in creating? Feels like perfectionism comes in here. You were saying it earlier. Freedom. Freedom? Oh my gosh, babe. Like literally, I wrote somewhere in my journal, somewhere, or my notes, that leisure is my art. And I really believe that because freedom, I feel like, is my art form. I cherish my freedom so much. That is the one like attribute out of my journey back to myself that I'm like, that is me. Freedom is me. It's so me. So I don't know, how much does freedom matter to you? And how much are you willing to like muse upon your own freedom and have experiences that cultivate what freedom means? This is a great theory for you. Instead of like asking yourself, well, what does home mean? Maybe that's not the question or the homework that you needed. Maybe the question and homework is actually, what does freedom mean to me? How do I achieve freedom? When do I feel the most free? And then those things allow you to just be like, go, 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 go. You get to be in play mode. And I think freedom is so much of play. It's just playing. I hope that helps. Okay. Um, Tiffany, how are you feeling about April and how do you feel now that you've put the course on out through I Love Creatives? April has been amazing for me. Um, like literally, I have been booking it in the past week. So sad because my sweetie has traveled like 16 hours to come be with me in the fucking boondocks of nowhere. And he's leaving to LA right now or soon, but I have been so deeply in launch mode and I feel really fucking good about it. I feel so good about it. And there was a part of perfectionism where I'm like, no, we can't do it yet. The workbook's not done, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, I'm not ready, like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't even care anymore because I could riff. I could riff, riff, riff. So I feel good about it. Um, yeah. And then I'm going to Japan next week. So I'm really excited about that. And I feel like I so deserve. Um, I feel like all of this, I've been in shaping mode for so long that literally after this, I'm going into rooting mode where I've already boiled some garbanzo beans and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to meditatively pick every single shell off of each garbanzo bean so I can make hummus, like, and just let my mind rest. That's what I need. So I don't know. I feel good about that. Japan vlog, I don't know. Am I vlogging right now? Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I'm scrolling around. Ivy, for someone who has spent most of their life choosing stability over creativity and play, how do you begin to shift towards creative life and career, especially when it feels unfamiliar, even though it's something you've always desired? Stability over career and play. One, I've written myself. Did I not include this? I have written so many manifestos to myself, but one thing I wrote in a recent manifesto to myself, I think I have this on my Instagram. No, it's on my Instagram, is that I will protect my creativity, that I will never use it. And I've made this, and I've watched a lot of creatives make this mistake where they commodify and commercialize their creativity to the point that it makes it so hard to enjoy. And creativity is a soul action. It's a soul way of being. So I just think that we all need to reshift what creativity means. And if you're able to like really create a lot of joy out of creating and making something out of it and making money and having a job out of it, then amazing. But I think it should take several steps to get there where you should always have income from something that like is just something that you can do. Like I often think about like I'm not making money right now. I'm like not haven't been really working in the past 8 months. Thankfully, I've had money saved up to like kind of sustain a life, but also I've simplified my overhead tremendously. So that was part of like this give and take. And I've always been thinking to myself, like, if I ever need to make money, I'm not above working at a coffee shop. I'm not above working at the library, doing small little things. And I think that being able to protect my creativity and taking on other jobs that will bring me money, like, means so much more than just being able to do creative work for money. It's actually not as glamorous as it may seem because you're literally selling a piece of your spirit, a piece of your soul, and you got to protect your creativity, but you got to cultivate that within yourself first. It's not an over romantic thing. It is actually just little gestures throughout your day that bring you joy, is what I think creativity is. Luis, was there ever a moment where you experienced too much discomfort? Is there such thing as too much discomfort? Yeah, there's too much. Anything of too much is too much. A balance is everything. And I'm scared of discomfort as well, as we all are. I don't think I've ever gotten to a point where I'm too uncomfortable because once I start hating, it's almost like my leave 3 moments after the high note. I'm leaving 3 moments before my dismantle. Like I am not gonna dismantle. I'm not gonna like fall apart. I'm not gonna like be in a situation long enough that I'm falling apart. And that's just awareness. It's like you gotta understand when I'm too discomfort like too much in my discomfort that I need to pull myself in the other direction. It's all about balance here. Hope that helps. Uh, Shiori, how do you archive all of your thoughts? I often write down in so many different places, and it's hard to collect fragments and construct an idea, like what you mentioned in your mantras. Um, Archiving your thoughts. Yes, we have so much footage, content, photos, thoughts, ideas, wants, gifts. This is all part of being still. It's like just take a moment to be still. You're not collecting things from the outside world anymore. You're not externalizing. You're taking a moment to be still. And in a moment of stillness and also parts of shaping. Part of my process is looking through my old journals again. I'm not, I think it's often like when this is so like thematic, but it's so often that we can like sit through and just keep turning the next page writing, turning the next page writing. But how often do we actually go through and bookmark the things that we have done? I am rushing through these questions. Otherwise, I would reach for my journal right there from last year where I have put post-it notes on everything. And I really sat down. This is what I did on New Year's Eve by myself in a moment of stillness in my van is I went through my entire journal and I bookmarked every page that felt important. And with every page, I just thought to myself, how do I consolidate this information somewhere? Oh, was this action put into plan? If not, like here's a space that I always have like projects in motion and just um you got to systemize all of it. You got to really spend time to process information that and not just generate information, but process it too. So that's just a step that is missing in your process. And it is annoying to do. I get it, but you got to do it. Mm. Okay. I'm going to 5 minutes left. Do I have Spotify or SoundCloud? I have both. My SoundCloud, I gatekeep because it's like YouTube videos and stuff like that. Spotify, you can follow me, Rach, Raych Nguyen, Nguyen. Okay, wow. So many good questions. Is there a way that I could export all these questions and do something about it? Because I really love this, but we'll figure that out later. Um, Cecilia, I love this question. What do you think about Reinvention. I am reinventing myself all the time, and I think that inventing yourself, again, I'm doing this when this mic isn't even on. Um, it's this mic, and I accidentally unplugged it. Am I okay? Okay, hold on. There we go. Um, I reinvent myself weekly. You gotta. The idea of reinventing yourself is literally like just this idea that you're evolving and you got to let yourself evolve. And I have been in moments in my life where I've evolved so fast and out of sight from my friends that I come back and they don't recognize me. I'm a completely different person. And you're going to have moments where people are going to be like judging you about that or confused by that. But I feel so good in myself in this place that I'm at right now that it's just like, yeah, I'm a new bitch. So what? Even showing up on YouTube, I'm so different than when I was. Like, so many people still see me as like my 2015 self 10 years ago, listening to Mac DeMarco riding my like beach cruiser through Larchmont. And like, I'm just not her anymore. Like, you just got to allow yourself for reinvention and give yourself that permission that when you reinvent yourself, you are going to lose people and you're going to gain people. And that is just what it is. Juliet, thank you. I have been told I've been in divine vibes lately, which thank you. I'm feeling it, That's I reinvented myself within this conversation. Like I just threw my shawl on. You got to do that. Um, okay. I'm going to try to find a question that feels a little bit outside of what we've talked about because a lot of the questions about like self-doubt, how do you get into yourself and how do you align? How do you balance the pressure? It's all the same. It's sort of like you just got to journey back to yourself. Really think about. There's no specific perfect answer I can give you guys other than you got to do the work and the work is going to be long. Actually, this is what I'm going to leave with. Kind of like just this general thing of the themes of the questions is this is work. This is not an easy destination. You're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to lose friends. You're going to gain friends. You're going to lose insights. You're going to lose parts of yourself and you're going to gain parts of yourself. But the parts of you that you want to lose were maybe versions of you that weren't authentically you to begin with, because we have gone into this world with a veil of perceptions from our parents. Literally, when we came into this world, we were perceived to be a certain type of way. And all of that is beautiful knowledge, ancient wisdom, ancestral knowledge. And going back to something I said earlier in this lecture about all we have to do on this earth is to raise our consciousness. And so we just got to be aware of how we show up in this world and that the patterns that we are subjected to that have been passed down through us through a buzzword of generational trauma, but actually we have the power to look at our history and the perceptions that were placed upon us and the belief systems that were placed upon us upon birth, upon our existence as a human in this world. And it's very difficult through socializing, through family affairs, through church and state. And to break consciousness and to deliver your own consciousness into this world is to say, this is who I am and this is what I really believe in. And the pain of what my parents went through that have been inflicted upon me, it's not mine to uphold and to keep. The system that I live in, maybe I don't really need to live here anymore because I am just contributing to materialism. I'm contributing to things that that aren't aligned for me. How do you find alignment within yourself? That's ultimately all this is to have the consciousness to align to your truest values. And with that said, I hope that was helpful in some ways. So many great questions here, Gina. I don't know what we can do, but I would love to save these questions so I can address them at some point later. But if you're catching up from a recording, thank you for watching. Sorry you couldn't be here. The chat has been chef's kiss. Y'all are so fun. Y'all are great. I missed you guys. I miss being on Word. I miss being on YouTube. I miss teaching. So I'm really happy to have this moment to connect with you guys. Um, I'm going to replenish myself and get into some stillness and have my brain shut down a little bit. But I love you guys. Thank you so, so much for being here and everyone here. Um, thank you. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Asha, Ina. See it. What's the homework again? Listen to yourself. Write a journal, listen to yourself. Write what home is for you or what freedom is for you. Write out your desires. That's your homework. Write your desires out. Okay. Bye, Ariana, Gabby, Hazel. Good to see you. Lana, Stephanie, Surya. So good to see you guys. Okay, I'm outie. Thank you, Gina, for organizing this. Appreciate you. Send me anything that I need and stick around for follow-up emails as well. Bye.